Since 1945, Weatherby's been building the finest firearms and ammunition in the world. And today, we're proud to continue that legacy from our facility in Sheridan, Wyoming. This is On Our Mark, the Weatherby podcast.
Welcome back to On Our Mark, the Weatherby podcast. Today, we have a fun topic to talk about. Whenever you launch a new thing, there's a couple things you can think about, or a couple ways you can go about doing it. What we often do, and it's really hard, is to think about what people don't know that they want, but hopefully are going to want it once we launch it. This is not that.
No. you saying welcome back to our listeners is very fitting for what we're about to talk about.
Yes. The other and much easier thing to do is to take feedback from your consumers. In this case, there has been feedback for the 7 years that I've been at Weatherby, and probably for the however many decades before that, of people saying, when are you going to support the 224 Weatherby MAG again?
Mm-hmm.
That time is here.
Today's the day.
Surprise.
So Tyler and Jacob are here to help me talk about this today, but we are proud to announce that we are bringing back support of the 224 Weatherby MAG. And with that, we're gonna unpack in this podcast a few things that go along with that, including a new action.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's like actually the biggest, I feel like one of the biggest parts of this day.
Absolutely.
But you gotta have them both together. It's actually become really hard to talk about. That's
it's three pieces.
Which we start to put our launch assets together. We do some videos and we try to have multiple mediums. Podcast is always part of that. I don't think I have fumbled more in a product video than I have in this 224 new Mark V short action, talking through all the different new bullet offerings. I mean, there's just a lot.
There is. And it's like this crazy blend of, our history, old and new and modern versus historical. It's pretty cool. Like when you're thinking about this launch, there's so many layers. You start talking about ammo, then you just peel back like 3 layers because you talk about ammo from past and ammo that we're about to launch.
Well, before we even get into any of it, we get a question a lot, and we're in the middle of show season. We are just at some consumer shows. This is going to air, in a couple weeks, basically? We'll just have gotten back from Western Hunt Expo.
Yep.
224 Day. Happy 224 Day. See what we did there? Like Pi Day.
Yeah.
One of the questions we get a lot at consumer shows is, like on the 257 Weatherby, why don't you make a faster twist barrel? And it's not because we don't want to, but it's because we want to have a really good offering across old cartridges and new cartridges so that a consumer, no matter when they bought their rifle, is going to have a happy experience with the ammo that is available for purchase.
Mm-hmm.
The original 224 Weatherby was a 1 in 14 twist.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't line up with some of the offerings we're going to have for it now.
Exactly. So let's just jump into this because I'm excited about a lot of things, but there's a trend generally across. It doesn't matter what the caliber is, but there's a trend towards heavier projectiles, higher BC projectiles. There's really good advantages, long range velocity retention for high BC projectiles. So a lot of people want to run a heavier projectile, specifically in a 224. And now that there's some pretty good bullet offerings, we tested a bunch. We had phenomenal success with the 80.5 grain
full bore
FBT.
target. Yep.
FBT. 80.5 grains. What's our velocity, muzzle velocity, looking at on a 24?
So right now we're expecting that little bit of play to figure out what's going to be shooting the best. But right now we're expecting that about 29-25 from the muzzle.
So that heavy of a projectile does not stabilize well in a 1 in 14 twist barrel.
Not at all.
Not gonna work. So our new twist rate on these new 224s is a 1 in 8.
Mm-hmm.
Substantially faster than a 1 in 14. Almost twice as faster.
Mm-hmm.
Should we give, before we start diving into all the numbers, quick historical context? Original Varmintmaster 224.
Yeah.
was developed in the 60s by Roy.
1963.
Right? He wanted to, up until then, we were known for fast cartridges, big game cartridges, all the things. So this was kind of a step away from that, where he wanted to have like kind of a varmint caliber that was blazing fast, right?
I think he was mad at prairie dogs.
That is probably true. So he launches this action too, which is like our 6-slug standard action today, just shrunk down, skinnier, shorter, all the good things. So that was produced all the way till the 90s, when it was then replaced by the standard 6-slug action that we have today. It's just a longer version of that, could handle more modern cartridges, right? So we stopped making that short action 1 in 14 twist Varmintmaster.
What was called the Varmintmaster.
Correct.
Yep, it was just called that action, and it stopped being produced. I think it was 93 or 94. So
94, yep.
It's been
A minute.
We weren't even born yet, essentially, since the last time. So that sets the table for.
I was born, for the record.
I was talking to Jake.
I know, but for those that are listening.
So there's kind of the brief where it's like, okay, now where we are today hasn't been made for 30 years. We wanted to take that original concept of a short action Mark V and expand on it.
Yes.
So
that has been a topic of confusion internally and externally.
Yeah.
So Mark V Magnum, we call it the Magnum or the 9-lug.
Mm-hmm.
That's for your big boys. You're basically 257 and up.
Mm-hmm.
We need it's got the length and it has the girth.
Yes.
It's a Magnum bolt face action.
Yeah.
The 6-lug, or what we often call the standard action internally, is still technically by 700 platform terms a long action, but it's a long, skinny throat. So it can't basically handle any of the Magnum actions. When we came out with the RPM family, that's the reason it has a rebated rim, so it can fit. It's got the length, but it didn't have the girth.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a really lightweight action because of how skinny it is, and so we basically have modernized what the original Varmintmaster is and what we're now calling the Mark V Short.
Correct.
It is literally just a 6-lug shortened to really more of a 308 family max cartridge overall length.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for you historical guys, from the original Varmintmaster action, the new Mark V short action is actually a little bit longer than that original action, so there's not like compatible stocks and stuff for those two. But we did that, as Luke said, to modernize it. There's things like 6.5 Creedmoor that might end up in this one day.
Slow down.
Yeah, maybe
That's the next
hopes
podcast.
and dreams.
Yeah, that's the next podcast. But just kind of opens up that door for the future. So
It would. Yeah, it would make a really good lightweight platform. Just saying. Asking for a friend. So, yes, thank you for the pause to like focus on the action for a second. The new twist rate is 1 in 8 from 1 in 14.
Yep.
So it's going to stabilize both the lighter weight bullets to the heavier 80.5 grain. If you've got an older original Varmintmaster or anything else chambered in a 224 that's not a 1 in 8 twist, you're not going to have a good experience with that 80.5 grain FBT. It's just not going to stabilize.
But the good news is we
Go
kept
ahead.
you in mind.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of lighter weight options. Specifically, we've got a 37 grain hammer custom bullet and a 50 grain B-Max. And both of those will still work in those older rifles, and they're going to be really good options for it.
37 grain sounds very light.
Sounds light. But for the varmint guys out there, the coyote hunters, anyone like that, they're going to love it.
Muzzle velocity?
Muzzle velocity on
whoa,
that?
make sure your jaw's in a safe position because it's about to drop.
Yeah, the 37 grain hammer, we have leaving the muzzle at 41.25.
That's
Pretty fast.
Very fast.
Anytime you break 4, that's fast.
It's very fast.
But 41.25, that's smoking.
Yeah, so there are some other commercial cartridges with the 24-inch barrel where you can get up that speed in a 22 cal, but it's a handful.
Yeah.
Handful. No, not even that. 2.
But as far as our commercial offerings, this is the first one that we're going to have that's going to be over 4.
Yeah, and now multiple bullet offerings. We're happy to support again the 224 case, and we're basically loading these now. And this is not the highest volume that we do. In fact, it's near the lowest volume that we do on average. So one happy little tip on these is that each one of these 224 cartridges are hand loaded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not hand loaded from an industrial loading machine from like a single stage press situation.
Yeah.
So
a lot of time going into these.
This is reaching back into the roots.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the naysayers, one of the things they might say would be that the ammo's expensive. It's not cheap comparative to 223 Remington, 5.56. It's a different animal though.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just before this podcast, I couldn't help myself, but I snuck down in the range and sent a few.
Oh, nice.
And it's really nice.
It's fun.
Yeah, it feels.
It's unique.
Recoils a little more than a 223, like just a standard 223. You can see your impact on paper.
Mm-hmm. At 100 yards.
At 100 yards, but it's so much faster than. And I was just actually shooting some original Spire points out of the new twist rate. Holy moly. I shot, it was like a 1/4 inch group. And I just literally just went down. I'm going to shoot 2 shots. I just, want to remind myself what the recoil feels like. And so then I had to shoot 3. And then I had to shoot 4. I'm like, wow.
Just stack them in there.
Yeah. Like, wait. 2 of those were like 1 hole. It felt pretty nice.
So the feeling that you're having right now to me is like when you buy a classic car, you don't really like worry about paying for the gas. Like if you have to use more expensive fuel.
Yeah.
I think that it's that experience that you're getting when you're shooting it.
Yeah.
Or driving that car.
Yeah,
right?
and if you look at the platform that it's going into, it's not a cheap rifle. Let's just be honest. It's not. That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
But what it is about is basically what we're calling the Mark V Deluxe Varmintmaster. It's that deluxe stock, high gloss finish, monumentally inefficient for us to make. I mean, it's a headache. Wood is like super in right now. There's something happening. We're almost 80 years old next year. Next September is our 80th anniversary. The Deluxe has been around for a really large portion of that. And last year was our best year ever for Deluxes out the door. And it's February right now. And it looks like we're going to double what we did last year in Deluxes.
Wood's back, baby.
It's back.
Wild. It's wild.
I think a lot of it comes back to, again, the heritage of the company, the heritage of the original Deluxe. People they think back to what Weatherby was, what Weatherby is, and it's like, man, like this is the flagship. It's here to stay, and people are proving that.
I think there's just something kind of sexy about that high gloss metal. It is so hard. If you look at what it takes to make that finish, there's a reason that nobody else does it. It is crazy freaking hard to make it. Basically, you're taking all that steel and making it into a mirror before you blew it. It's so shiny. Like when I get close to it and I kind of get nervous. I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna shed a hair on that thing before they're blued. They'll be on the racks, just super shiny. It's gorgeous. One thing to note on the new 224 is we talked about modernizing generally. We're going to thread that barrel.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so throwing a suppressor on that thing?
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot
I really
of fun.
want to get a high gloss suppressor.
Yeah, we need to ask Brandon at Silencer Central.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
How
be
cool
cool.
would that
I've
be?
never seen one of those before.
I haven't either.
What a match, though.
If
Yeah.
anybody, well, I know Brandon, but if anybody wants to make a plug for getting a high gloss suppressor,
Could we blue one downstairs?
maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, we could. No,
Because it has to be.
no, I don't think we have the right outer material, but we could probably like DLC one.
Yeah. And you get close.
It'd be real close.
Yeah.
It would look hot.
That'd be okay. We have to do this somehow.
Yes.
We're gonna make that happen.
Match that with a high gloss scope.
Yeah, and Leica
Leica's got a good
yeah.
one.
We get that question a lot. And what about a high gloss scope? Because Leupold quit supporting theirs, from what I understand. Leica just brought one back that darn near matches the Mark V high gloss finish. Looks
Really close.
good.
Really close.
Yeah, it does look good.
Okay. I want to get back to some of the ballistics on the 224. Jacob, I'm gonna just put you in the hot seat here.
Here we go.
Give me some comps.
Is this your first time on the podcast? I mean,
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Just
no.
making
John
sure.
Spice and Hunt. That was the first one. Yeah,
That's right.
that was a good story.
But
I like that
new
one.
position since then.
New position.
Oh
Man, we
you're
totally
right.
blew that.
No, we didn't. We were building it up. Yeah, that was on purpose.
Yeah, we're gonna put you in the hot seat for your
Yeah.
expert opinion.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to manage customer service, but now I'm working over in product development, associate product manager.
Well, congrats. No good deed goes unpunished around here. So. Well done, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, no, I mean, when you start looking at the ballistics, it's really fun because, so often people get stuck on Weatherby for Magnum performance, for Magnum cartridges. So you look at the 300, the 257, our staples that have been around for so long. And a lot of times our, quote unquote sub guns get a little bit overlooked. And the 224 is absolutely one that deserves a little bit more of a spotlight. So I'm really happy we're doing this. But yeah, I mean, a 37 grain bullet going 41.25. That is insane. Insane.
I have not done it yet. I am pumped. It's currently like a blizzard outside, so it's not the ideal prairie dog busting weather. But as soon as we get there,
Soon as
there's
it
a
turns,
couple colonies.
Yeah, there's just something about
That
like
are- that are
laying
like-
out, just kind of getting all
I
sprawled
can
out.
hear that little prairie dog bark in my mind right now.
Little chirp.
little chirp. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see. That'll be fun.
I mean, specifically for like that, I mean, most of the time, yeah, your prairie dog shots, 300-400 yards, not having to hold over. It's going 4,100 feet per second.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Hold on, pull the trigger. Off you go. Weatherby way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm particularly pumped for that hammer 37 grain. That's gonna be fun. I've been a big hammer fan since we started messing with them, but that one's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opposite end of the spectrum, I think what I'm most excited about is the 80 grain in the new twist rate for like states where it's legal whitetail hunting. Like
Yeah.
the energy that it has. I mean, it's
Yeah.
got over 1,200 foot-pounds of energy at 200 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're hunting, Texas whitetails, where I believe you can use a 22 grain bullet there,
Mhm.
that would be awesome. If you're
22
just,
caliber.
or 22 caliber.
Yeah.
Sorry, not grain. I think that would be pretty amazing. That'd be kind of fun. No recoil.
Mm-hmm.
Just a cool
Well, and,
setup.
I mean, think about like what a fun little starter cartridge for the kids.
Yeah.
That's-
Like everybody always jumps to the Creed more because it doesn't have a recoil, but it's like, well, hey, now you can have something that shoots insanely fast
Yeah.
and doesn't have the recoil.
Yeah.
Fits all the bills right there.
I when I lived in Arkansas before coming to Weatherby, I built a AR for my son to deer hunt with, and it was a tack driver, super lightweight, really light on the recoil, being a semi-auto, and we shot a deer with it in 223 with the what's the hog bullet, Hornady's. It's like Hognado. I forgot what it's called.
Hognado.
Something like that. Anyway, it did the job. It wasn't like a boom flop situation, but it died inside.
Yeah.
Good shot was made, and I'd like to have had a little more velocity, but it was funny moving to Wyoming. He had been hunting for years, and then he had to sit years out because it's 12 here, and in Arkansas it's like, can you walk?
Yeah. There's so many videos of like little kids with like crossbows at like 7 years old shooting whitetails. Like, yeah, this
And
would
just
be
pumped.
perfect for it. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
What else we got?
Beyond that, we've got a 50 grain VMAX, which I know traditionally a lot of guys out there in the 2.2 world, they like to shoot the 55 grain VMAX, but that 50 grain getting that little bit of extra velocity, we've got that at 3,700 feet per second. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3,700 feet per second.
Yeah, for comparison, a 22-250 with the 55 grain is 3680 on a 24-inch barrel. So
Yeah.
we're
Right there.
right there.
Yeah, and then, really the door opens from there, especially in the hand loading world, which I'd assume that most people that still own a 224, they're traditionally going to be hand loaders at this point. But it's, when these new rifles, when you start looking at hand loading opportunities, I mean, everything, 60 plus, there are so many companies out there offering 60 grain plus options. It just is incredible.
That's what's cool about kind of modernizing the whole platform is now with that 1 and 8 twist. If you want to start experimenting and hand loading and going to town with the heavier bullet options, basically anything north of 55, you're going to want that faster twist rate, and we've got it. And another thing to note, I think I failed to mention earlier, to be able to tell the difference if you don't know how to do a twist rate test with a dowel rod. We did not stamp the 1 and 14 barrels with a twist rate. We have since started doing that here at Weatherby. So all of the 1 and 8s will always have said 1 and 8 twist on the barrel right under the cartridge marking.
Another, correct me if I'm wrong, another quick one would be if your serial number, our Wyoming prefix
is going to be,
if it's WY, it's going to be 1 and 8. So
Yep.
Yeah, that's an easy way to check.
Anything otherwise is going to be the old 1 and 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, just want to call that out for people that are wondering what their twist rate is. There's a couple ways to tell.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
There's been a number of new 22s in recent history. 22 Creed, we're a little faster than. There's 22 250. There's
224 Valkyrie.
224 Valkyrie
22
was
Arc.
the cartridge that never really got the legs.
Yeah.
I remember when that was launched. I can't remember what year now. 2015?
Sounds right.
Somewhere in there. I can remember seeing it at that SHOT Show, but it never completely took off. This one, it's fun that we've had it around for a long time. Sadly, we didn't support it very well for a number of decades, but we're really pumped to bring it back. The consumer feedback has been clear. We do listen. Sometimes it takes us a while. Development's not easy. Trying to make everything work together, modernized. But now hopefully people can see why with this new Mark V short action, updated twist rate. We got a lot of cool stuff going on, and I'm really pumped about the Varmintmaster Deluxe coming back.
Yeah, it's I guess we're a few weeks after, but I remember this did get leaked a few weeks ago at some sales shows. All of our dealers were so pumped.
Let me talk about that a little bit.
Oh boy,
I'm not going to soapbox it, but man, it's tough. You as a brand, as marketers, we want to do our best to shout from the rooftops when we've got something ready to go. At the same time, we've done I would say a decent job in the last few years of when we launch something, there's product available at retail. That means we have sold it for some period of time before we announce it publicly. That was the case here. We go through these dealer and buy group shows, and our reps are pumped. The dealers are pumped. It's one of it's a passionate one, more so than a lot of other areas. And yeah, one of our best reps was shown holding this gun.
It was just a picture.
I think what happened is he got pumped. He sent a picture of him holding this gun to a dealer that's been asking him about, when are you guys going to bring back the 224? That dealer got excited, sent it to one of the customers that would buy it. The customer was pumped, started posting it online. We went back and tried to pull that off. Guys, let us just give us a couple weeks. We're going to do this, but this gives us time to sell them. We're actually not going to have any available at retail this time around. They're going to be about a month or two lagging. Once we start to ship. We had a slight delay getting the wood here, but once they start to ship, they've been pre-sold. They're going to be available at retail. You can get on weatherby.com and pre-order.
Yeah, just pre-order gets you in line and all that good stuff.
But yeah, we have already sold several months worth of capacity. So once we do first come first serve, so dealers get first pull. But if you can't get one through your local dealer, we are happy to make sure you're able to get one on weatherby.com. So
yeah, back to the listeners have met this rep. He was on the podcast.
Frickin' Frack,
It's Frickin' Frack Outdoors. It's Randy. And the funniest thing about Randy is, was it 2 years ago when he won Rep of the Year or last year? His gift from us is that we found a 224 Weatherby, an old style one. So he is huge believer, loves it. So I think that was kind of a fun
And
story that he's the one who leaked it, essentially.
he's as good a guy as there is, and you'll ever find. He's probably one of the best gun salesmen in the whole business. Great guy. If you have a secret, though, maybe you don't tell Randy anymore.
Yeah. Well, so the day after Randy did that, I popped my head into our sales, Raleigh's office. He's our director of sales, right? I popped in and I go, never mind. He's like, what? What is it? I go, I have a secret, but if I tell you, then everyone's going to know about it.
That's right. That's right. It's fun. I think people are excited. There's a pent up energy for the 224 and some other Weatherby things too.
Absolutely the best thing to see, because I mean, from the time in customer service, I can't tell you how many people are just, man, I can't wait to
better
get
than
one.
us for sure.
Like I can't wait for this thing to come back. When are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it?
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like you got that question probably once a week, and I can just tell that energy is still there.
Yeah. So, like I said, we do our best to listen.
Yeah.
We like the feedback, and sometimes it doesn't make sense right away, but we're gonna.
Yeah, I would say
pumped.
last one really cool thing is we are doing a pre-order on 224 Weatherby ammo box hats. So we do get a lot of customers ask about the old ammo boxes.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And we are doing a 224. They're available for pre-order, but we're doing the old Fox 224 Weatherby ammo patch hat. It looks pretty
It does
rad.
look pretty
It looks
good.
super rad.
So those are probably a couple weeks out, but we're like trying to get as many on order as possible. So if you want one, go ahead and pre-order it, and it'll ship out once we get them. But they're pretty cool.
They're awesome.
Yeah, so timeline, like I said, we've already been taking orders. They're going to be available at dealers. They'll probably start hitting dealer shelves late March into April. Right now, if you order one on the Weatherby website, you're probably looking at June, best case, depending on when you order it. That's as of launch day, like 224. So if you're listening to this podcast after February 24th of 2025, it might be later than June of 25.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. These are going much faster than we thought, so it's good. Good problem to have.
They are. I would say that I'm going to lose this bet. Raleigh and I will often kind of like place a wager on how many new SKU's going to do. He's going to win this one.
Yeah.
No,
he's
all good
he's
things.
usually more optimistic than I am.
Yeah. Yeah. You're the realist in the room most times.
Most of the time, but
not this one.
I think I was just wrong.
See, when you're
I'm
when you're
a
wrong,
man enough
though,
to say that.
when you're wrong, you're still right, though.
Hey, good
Right?
point. That's right. That's right. You can't get it right every time. But
But more sales are better.
yeah,
so.
I'm excited. I'm real excited. There's so many cool 22 cal cartridges out there. I was trying to compare some more, but really, I think there's like a cult like following for most guys that love that caliber, and they probably know a lot more than I do in some cases about the 224 Weatherby. But
Yeah, we might have to put these in the description. All of the bullet options, you put a bunch on here that are gonna be for hand loaders.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of cool. I'm looking at and they make a hammer makes like a HHT a 74 grain. That one would be probably pretty cool. Trying to throw in with a 1-8 twist.
Yeah,
Something
I know.
that could be cool.
Yeah.
A lot of guys will be excited about the 75 grain Sirocco, the 70 grain AccuBond. Let's see. I think what was the other one that was really good? Oh, 80 grain ELDX for the Hornady guys out there.
That'll be
Hand loaders are going to
popular.
have a heyday with this. I'm telling you right now.
There's a
gonna
lot of
love
cool
this.
heavy bullet options.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and the BC just makes
all the difference.
a huge difference. I was looking at some of our dope charts over here, 50 grain VMAX. Just talking energy, just energy. Energy from that to an 80.5 grain FBT at the muzzle, it's almost the same. 1520 on the VMAX and 1529 foot-pounds of kinetic energy at the muzzle for the 80.5 grain. So not 9 foot-pounds different at the muzzle, but if you go out to 500 yards, the VMAX drops to 368 foot-pounds, and the 80.5 grain retains 851. Well over double
Yeah,
the energy at 500 yards. BCs matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny, that's that age-old conversation of, okay, do I go for a higher BC or do I just go up to the next caliber? And it's funny because I've argued this back and forth so many times. Like, yeah, you know, if you wanted to go up to a 240 and shoot an 80 grain bullet, you could, but your BC is going to be nowhere near what it would be for a 22 cal in an 80 grain. And it's so hard to make that argument that, man, I should go with that, you know, faster, lighter option when you have that BC that's going to let you shoot that much further.
Yeah, it's like the turtle and the hare thing. It's just like keeps
Yeah.
creeping, and then you finally passes
Yeah,
them once you start
that
getting out the
consistency.
distance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets interesting though when you start to miss or mix calibers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can have a really heavy for caliber 22, which would be light for caliber on a 25. So it's fun when you start to get all nerdy about it, which I like to do. So the answer is get both.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Both.
Just do both of them.
Why not?
I'm particularly excited. I can't wait to add one of these to my collection.
Yeah.
I am going to probably just have to shoot both the 37 and the 80.5 grain. I'm going to need to do some experimenting with both just to kind of see how coyotes like it and how prairie dogs like it.
I'm guessing neither of them are going to like it very much.
Probably neither will like it at all, but I guess it's more about which I will like more.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the fun thing for me is John, my brother who works in sales, he ended up buying a 224 outright. Just got to have one.
He found one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he bought a 22-250 with a 26-inch barrel, one of the old Japanese guns. And so now I'm kind of like, man, how fun would it be to take the current and compare it to the old side by side and a little bit of a shoot off? I just think that'd be
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
I think that's in your future.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm looking at this gun saying, okay, how fast can I get one?
This one's got a nice piece of wood on it.
It does.
Yeah. You guys should check out the launch video. It's pretty cool. We've got the old one and the new one in there.
Oh,
So
dude,
you
nice.
Yeah, you should. We'll do some posting too if you're ever on the socials. But it's pretty cool to see them side by side. And honestly, the wood on these look pretty darn good. Like every once in a while, you'll get that.
We get that.
You get that guy. It's like it's not as good as it once was. I'm like, man, have you seen
Dude, these look
two
pretty
side by
fun.
side?
Yeah, I
Pretty
know.
good.
We've had some questions on social media about the pictures that we post of some of the deluxe wood, and they're like, that has to be hand picked. I'm like, well, yeah, we usually will hand pick some for social media, but it's like you there's not many slouches.
Yeah.
It's not like had to go through hundreds to find that one. It's like, yeah, A or B. It's like,
Honestly,
probably A.
on this
but B's
one,
really good too.
on this one, we had 10, our first 10 wood samples. We had to go with the lower end just to set the expectation. I'm
Yeah.
not even kidding.
No, that's not
We
a lie.
went through and been like, oh, these 5 that are just going to be normal in the box are so good that we had to photograph this one so it's not over promising. So
Right.
There were 3 stocks that I remember we picked them out, and it was like, there's no way that these are double A. They have to be graded wrong. But
that's what
here they come.
That's like the unique thing. They grade it before they're shaped, so
Yeah.
it's
You never know.
in the blank. They're looking for that figure, that swirl. Walnut's just such a cool wood. It just looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I think that's your advantage of getting to your dealer and going and finding your dealer, especially on a woodstock gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
As you get to
you may
go
want
in
to
'em.
see it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, especially those first dealers you ordered, try to find them.
Yeah, and it's a long list. I'd love to list them here, but I can't. There's quite a few. So,
Yeah.
Tyler, land this plane. Where can they learn more?
Man, you can learn more at weatherby.com. And then honestly, we have so much stuff on social. Follow our Instagram, YouTube, you're going to get the podcast. You're going to get the product walkthroughs. You're going to get a bunch of information. We have a landing page just for this. So if you sign up for our email, you can find our email sign up list at the bottom of our homepage on our website. We send out so much informational stuff on that eBlast stuff. So that's probably the best.
And
best.
if you're not subscribed to the email newsletter, we don't fill up your inbox 3 times a day.
No,
We send once a week.
it's new products. It's content. Like around 224, we'll do like 3 or 4 emails just because there's so much information there that we'll be like, hey, here's the product launch, but here's a deep dive into the action. Here's a deep dive into the caliber options. So it's really good information, and that's the best way. And then honestly, if you guys want more comments coming to our into our podcast email. That's a good place to hit too. We see
on
them
our
all the
market
time.
at weatherby.com.
That's a good place to ask questions, and honestly, we'll try to answer them. We might not answer your email, but we'll try to get to them in the podcast. So,
And if anything doesn't get answered, always reach out to customer service. We're super friendly. Try and help as much as we can. It's always a great resource.
Yeah, you don't have to have a problem to call customer service. Like
we actually like it when you don't have a problem.
yeah. If you're just trying to choose between one caliber or the other, they'll help you out. Maybe make sense of what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Great tip, Jacob. Thanks for being on. Thanks, Tyler.
Glad to be here.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Let's go.